Hello everyone, hope you're doing great. Welcome to your Tech channel. If you're new here, welcome, and I'm so happy to see you all once again. Nowadays, what I notice, everyone trying to move their digital data to the cloud. They just think that the cloud is the most secure place where you're supposed to save and store your data. And they're in a hurry. Whatever they have on premises, they just want to move all those data on the cloud. And they say the cloud is the most secure place because it's not physically available. No one can get inside the server room, pull out the hard drive, turn on the power cable, change the AC unit, and make some changes. Or what if they throw water on the server room floor? Create a lot of currents. They said, well, because of this and that, we thought, let's move all our digital data to the cloud. It is very secure. Do you think, guys, it's very secure? What do you think? I think some of you already got. There are some security concerns about the cloud computing. So the question is, what are they? Let's go.
Alright guys, let's talk about the security concern with the cloud services. Probably this is gonna be a panic topic for you all. Like, what do you mean? Is there any security concern with the cloud services as well? Let's say Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, Internet Service Provider, VPN or anything? Really? So we probably need to hire someone as a cybersecurity engineer, network security engineer, or cloud security engineer. The answer is of course, or you have to get rid of these things. Let's say you're trying to send a message. You're trying to send a message from computer A. I need you guys' attention. Very important. When you send a message through the cloud and trying to access, let's say, computer B, right? So when you want to try access computer B, so what could be the threat? The threat is here. Let's say I have a web server here, but I'm accessing this web server over the cloud, right? It is set up on the cloud. Let's say we discuss about the cloud, everything, but it is on the cloud. So what kind of data breach gonna happen in here? How is it possible? Let's say you're working as a software, as a services, everything is in the cloud, you don't have to do anything, it is secure. Let's say the Azure company, AWS, Google, they all say that it's secure. But here is the thing. If your website is run on HTTP hypertext transfer protocol, remember that the HTTP itself is a huge vulnerable, let's say, protocol for the hackers. So the question is, what do you mean? The question is, guys, if you remember, I do have plenty of videos discuss about the ARP spoofing, ARP poisoning, DHCP starvation, and application poisoning, application, let's say, threats is one of the common ways that HTTP attackers are trying to, let's say, deceive or snap your client request. Is, let's say, hackers in here. What the hacker do is the hacker is trying to run its own fake HTTP. Remember that this is very important. This is CISSP topic, but I thought to share it here as well. This is the fake HTTP website. When a client want to access this website, the website will not goes to this web server, and the client goes to their the hacker fake website. This is called a data breaches. Remember that this is how data breaches happening. Another one is, let's say that computer A won't access computer B even though you're using VPN. You're using VPN to access this file. Remember that those who have a VPN and they are so excited, like, oh, it's a secure. It is secure. But what about social engineering? What is social engineering? One of your friend will say, hey, you know what? They have a neighbor. They're so close to your house. They live right here in this building. This is the building. These guys living on the top floor. This is the window. He's asking me, I'm not able to access the internet. Do you mind to give me access the internet that you have at home? You will say, yeah, it's Wi-Fi. Go ahead. This is username and password. One of the data breaches happening most of the time when your network is not secure. So when the guy accesses your home internet, they ran one of the common, let's say, have you ever heard about the Hungry IP scanner? Search for Hungry IP scanner. When you download that file, that is a free software. It scan whatever IP is available and whatever devices connect to this range and what is the MAC address. Let's say if a guy found that 192.168.1.1 is belong to firewall. So this guy found the IP address, and meanwhile the guy find the MAC address. What? Found the MAC address of that specific firewall. Runs through the website. I need you guys' attention. Open a website. What is this MAC address vendor or who this MAC addresses are belong? Very easy. You can easily find. In order to find out which device is that. First, what the guys do, the guys go open a browser and type 192. You open a browser, type 192.168.1.1, and the SonicWall firewall browsers pop up. PFSN firewall, Palo Alto firewall, SonicWall firewall, ASA firewall, or let's say it's a router or the modem that you have at home. It will open the modem browser, like, hey, this is Dell, this router, or this is the Linksys router, and so on. Type your username and password in order to get inside this device. It's clear, right? Good. So now what they're gonna do is either they are trying to sniff the data, find out your computer bookmark item, the one which you have saved. Let's say you have saved the username and password, or if you're not smart enough to change the default username and password. I found it's Dell RTT9. Let's say it is D-Link. D-Link. It's very important, guys. I need your attention. D-Link. Let's say 10. Let's say it's D-Link 100. I search on the Google. I say, hey, what is the default username and password of the link? D-Link 100 series. Let's say, okay, the username is admin and the password is other. There's no password, or the password is admin. So this is how they can breach the data. This is how they can access your computer. This is how they can access your headquarter data or the cloud. This is the cloud. You have the full access. This is the cloud. This is how they want to access. If it's $1 million project, guys, they can rent let's say an apartment. They can rent an hotel close to your house, become your friend, going coffee, having fun, invite you for cinema. I got bored. What am I supposed to do? Let me access you. Let me get inside your house. Let's watch a movie. Oh, I don't have a Wi-Fi. Internet is very slow. Do you mind to connect my Wi-Fi to your internet? It's a lot of things going on, right? It is happening. I'm a witness. Go ahead and watch some of the news which is available. This is how they can poison their data. This is how they can get inside your the most let's say confidential data. That is true, right? Exactly. And also we can call these kind of things as an insider attack. Insider attack is those who has information about your computer. Let's say you leave your computer, you fully trust that girls, or you fully trust that boys, and he's not doing anything. You leave your computer open, and the guy knows what's your username and password of, even though you didn't lock your computer. They are trying to run and get the information from your computer and trying to use it for whatever purpose they are trying to do. This is insider attack. Even though remember that you have a VPN access, or you have direct access to Microsoft Azure using your username and password, and the guy has your username and password. So the only way that people can access the Azure, AWS, and Google and VPN and so on is authentication. Does matter. Authentication, authorization. Who are you and how you can access these devices. What permission you have. Accounting. Authentication, authorization, accounting. AAA. So this is one of the another important things that I share, that is insider attack. They can do anything that they want. They can get inside your computer and they do whatever they want to do. Another issue. So before I talk about before I move on about the malware, let's talk about, there are ways that you can say when you want to access the cloud computing as a two-factor authentication. The solution is two-factor authentication. You need to let the IT director, IT or project manager knows, or MFA, multi-factor authentication, AWS. Multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. So in order to make sure that you're the right person, you're connecting to your phone. If someone wants to access any file, it will automatically send you a code, or a specific authenticator application in your phone. When you check, there's a random numbers you have to type in order to access the cloud services. Remember that this is how you can keep your let's say cloud services very secure. It's very important. It's from network security, let's say infrastructure engineer, and those who are working in a cybersecurity. I learned from them and I thought to throw it in here. Another one is malware. What is malware? Access the cloud, whatever you have in the cloud, it is a malware. Well, malware is a kind of application or kind of, let's say, virus that can stay in your computer. It is a kind of a software that have full access of your computer. Malware has a full access of your computer. So you open a random website and some reason the malware is installed. One of the reality check, let's say 2 years ago, a friend of mine, he downloaded a file, he downloaded a specific application, but that application was not available for free, but he was trying to find out the free one. He found that application in one of the website, which was threat website. That was a wrong website. He downloaded, he saw the application, it download and install, everything was fine. But what happened, meanwhile, once he clicked on that specific application, what happened was he downloaded the malware as well. So the malware is, most of the time, it doesn't show. When you click, it automatically install in the background. It doesn't give you any option. Do you want to click next? Yes, no. It's just one click and it automatically install in your computer. Malware is another types of threat, or we can say attack, that can create a lot of problem. So they have access to your computer, they can do whatever they want to do, and it's gonna be poison to the rest of the computer as well. This is a malware. So the solution for this kind of let's say viruses, Most of software, most of antivirus software nowadays, it comes with the intrusion detection, intrusion prevention, and anti-malware antivirus as well. It's in your computer. Whenever those kind of malware trying to get inside your computer, the antivirus will automatically block those kind of things. And there are a diversity of firewalls, including Fortinet firewall, Palo Alto firewall, PFSN firewall, Indian firewall, and let's say Checkpoint firewall, ASA firewall. Those kind of firewall, most of the stateful packet firewall, a stateful packet firewall. We have a stateless packet firewall. We have a stateful packet firewall, and we can say proxy servers. We can do content filtering, web filtering, and word filtering, and so on. Those kind of firewall. Let's say if you don't have those kind of application in your computer, like antivirus, if you have a very strong firewall, the firewall does not allow those kind of activities comes to your computer. This was the solution. Solution was what? The solution was antivirus, and I have mentioned about the firewall as well. So let's talk about the API attack. This is also very interesting. So what the APIs do most of the time, here's the thing. The main purpose of the API is that we discuss about the, let me check this all aside because I don't want to make you confused. The API attack is that, let's say I want to access Microsoft Azure. When I want to access Microsoft Azure, there are a specific application you can download in your computer in order to have a fully access of your Azure cloud services, or the same thing with AWS or Google or so on. API is an interpreter between your computer and your cloud services. If you want to make any changes in the cloud, the API is a listener, like, oh, what do you want to do? What do you want not to do? What am I supposed to do? Let's configure if you want to do any configuration and let's say push that configuration, it automatically goes to the cloud. API attack is a kind of things, again, if someone access to your computer, they can poison the API as well. They can make changes to the API. So now the customer will start suffering. Hey, I'm not able to access the website. Oh, there's an issue. I lost my, let's say, this much money and this and that. Remember that you would say, that's none of my business. That is your business, my friend. That is your business, because those company can easily sue your company. They can find out there was a threat that was API. APIs are like, it goes the entire project. So that is called API attack. For insider attack, I forgot to mention that there's a DLP, data, let's say, I can say data leak prevention. Remember that's DLP, data leak prevention. You have to have those kind of solution for that one as well. For the API, you have to have a full control of your API, and you have to keep your eyes on the configuration and make sure that everything is in the right places. So what is botnet attack? This is the craziest attack. I always mention this is the craziest attack. Botnet attack is, let's say if attacks come in this computer, but kind of botnet attack, it poisons the entire network. It poison here, poison here, poison here, and poison here as well. So botnet is a kind of attack that can, let's say if you have 1,000 computers connect to one region, another 1,000 computers connect to another region, and another places, another city or another country. So the entire computer will poison by botnet attack. What is botnet attack? Botnet attack is DOS, denial of service, or distributed denial of service. DDoS or DDoS. This is also this is called DOS, denial of service, or DDoS, distributed denial of service. Denial of service. It attacked your web server. Let's say it attacked your web server, and when a client wants to access the website, it's buffering, it's a lot of issue. It attacked your DHCP. Client will not able to access the internet. It's a lot of issues. Let's say 100 and 1,000 User are not able to access the internet. This is botnet attack. DDoS, distributed denial of service, and types of another attack we can say DCP starvation. Attack your switches, attack your firewall, attack your routers, make a lot of changes in your router, make a lot of changes in user. Let's say they change your DNS IP address to something else, so the DNS cannot resolve the IP. The DNS cannot resolve the IP, and there's a lot of interruption for the customer. Website is buffering, and that is another thing that you should keep in your mind to make sure it is secure. Solution is again back to make sure that your all devices up to date. First, whatever device that you have, make sure that firmware is up to date. If you have a firewall, you have to keep the firewall up to date. The switch that you have, the router that you have, anything that you have to keep those things up to date. And each user, you must use Active Directory username and password, authentication, authorization, accounting. You have to have a syslog server in order to make sure that you have the full access of every devices, what they are doing, and make sure it is secure. If there is a way that you can configure MFA, multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication, I believe so with the Palo Alto firewall, Fortinet firewall, and other types of firewall, there is a way. Even though if you're admin and you have a full access to the firewall, there's a portion when you want to access the firewall, it send you a link like this is the code, you have to type it to make sure that you're the right person. So these kind of attacks happen in the local area network. Let's say you have a server room. Port security is very important. Try to have a port security. MAC filtering is very important. You have to configure MAC filtering. You have to provide a VLAN. You have to use a private VLAN. Make the ports very secure. Name it when the port's not used. Try to shut down or try to shut down those ports, and so on. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things. And there are a diversity of, let's say, using a proxy server. Make sure that the user should not download a file from the ungenuine website. It's all happening by firewalls. If you have a firewall, that's very important things. The last thing is backup. Backup is your responsibility. So there's the two types of things that you should keep in mind. One is what you have backup, whatever file that you have. It is in the cloud, or if it is on premises. We discuss about the cloud, we discuss about the on premises, but if it is in the cloud, you have to make sure that you have a backup of those files. Another is what you're going to backup. So you have to have up-to-date backup. Let's say one of the clients is asking, hey, I lost this file, or I lost these things and I need this file back again. I saved it yesterday, but it doesn't show up now. So make sure that you have a backup for that. For redundancy, let's say some catastrophic things happen in worst case scenario, you need to have a restore point in order to restore the backup as well. These are the important things, let's say, as a cloud security engineer or working as a cloud network infrastructure and so on. These are the threats. I mentioned 6 threats in here: data breaches, insider attack, malware, API attack. So API attacks, very known attacks nowadays. It's called application programming interface. APIs stand for application programming interface attack. Botnet is very used attack. It's very used before the clouds come to the let's say come to the network computer networking industry. It was there already. Backupping is very important. You have to make sure to have a backup. One of the funny things come to my mind, to make sure to not have backup botnet computer files, because you're backupping the botnet. If you want to restore it, it goes back to the botnet attack application as well.
All right, I hope the information was very helpful. The only way to appreciate my work is to simply subscribe and like the video. Until next time, stay safe, be brave, and of course, see you guys next time.